What's up, guys? This time I'm going to talk about Jeff Who Lives at Home. Small indie film from the Duplass brothers. What else have I seen of them? I've seen Baghead, which I liked, and The Puffy Chair, which is available on Netflix. That's where I watched it, and kind of liked it. Super mumblecore film. I think it was one of the films that helped create that term. And I guess Jeff Who Lives at Home is in the same vein. It's definitely a very indie film, but it has a lot more spark to it. It feels like it has a faster pace. And I think a lot of what helps this is the cast. You have Jason Segel, Ed Helms, Susan Sarandon, like a really good cast. But the film is about Jeff who lives at home. It's not about me, although I wished I lived at home. Jason Segel plays the title character, Jeff. He's like a 30-year-old pot smoker, doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, doesn't know, he doesn't have a lot of direction. He's still living at home in his mom's basement. And the movie is great. I love it. But he loves the movie Signs. Like, that's a huge plot point in this. It plays into it very much. And the reason he loves it is because he shows that, like, there's destiny. Like, everyone has a purpose, and things happen for a reason, basically, right? And he tells you that at the beginning of the film. Like, he does a little. He's not telling it to you. He's like recording it while he's taking a shit. But like, that was his thoughts about it. And he talks about the little girl in Signs and how she left the water glasses all over the house. But then at the end, they needed those water glasses. That water saved their life. But he's, trying to figure out what his destiny is, right? And then you have his brother who is semi-successful. I think he works in retail. He has a wife. He's a little. He has his own place, an apartment, and that's played by Ed Helms. And what basically, it's very small on plot and kind of small on story, but it's big on heart and it's big on character. This movie's all heart, and it's just to get it right out of the way here, right at the beginning. The thing that is great about this movie is it just is really positive. It just left me with a really positive, like, I don't think I've finished a movie lately where it just left me so happy and almost inspired and wanting to do something. Basically, what happens is Jeff is sitting in his basement smoking pot. Might sound familiar. And he gets a call from his mom who's at work. She's like, I just want you to do one thing today for my birthday. I want you to fix the shutter in the pantry in the kitchen. One of the slats fell out, and she wants him to go get some glue or whatever and fix it. And so that kind of propels the story forward, where he has to leave the house, because otherwise he probably wouldn't have left the house, and we'd have an hour and a half of him in the basement. So he goes out, and adventures happen. There's a really cool one early on where he follows this person because he believes it's a sign that he's supposed to follow him. And this plays throughout the movie. I don't want to spoil it because it's pretty funny and pretty cool. Along the way, he ends up running into his brother who's having problems with his wife, and he just bought this Porsche and she's pissed at him and this and that. And then they think they see the wife out on the town, cheating on Ed Helms, and they track him down. And that's like the secondary plot is Ed Helms' wife cheating on him, and the secondary plot is the relationship between his brother and his brother's wife and what's going on with them. And both are done pretty well. And then there's a third plot with Susan Sarandon, the mom, at the office, where she's getting hit on. Like, someone's sending her messages on AIM saying, I'm a secret admirer. Like, someone throws a paper airplane at her, and she opens it up and it has a flower on it. And then she gets a message on AIM from anonymous 9898, and the person's like, do you like flowers? That's the third plot. And basically, when they were young, when the two brothers were young, their dad died, and she's raised them since, and she hasn't been with anyone since, so she's really lonely, and I liked all three plots. I really did. I liked the movie in general. It's 83 minutes long. It goes by like that. It's all heart, and it gives you a really, like, you sometimes wish you could look at the world the way Jeff does in the film. And, Ed Helms says as much. He goes, I really envy the way you look at the world, where there's a purpose for everything, and, there's meaning. And I won't tell you Jeff's response to that because it's also very good. The movie's just really good. It's funny at points. It's really poignant at points. It's sometimes really sad, but in the end, overall, you leave with like this very very just happy, positive outlook on life, and you want to be. Strangely enough, you want to be more like Jeff, who is just, he's like a kid. He's almost childlike in a way, where it's like things happen for a reason, and everything's gonna be okay. We just have to figure out what's going on. He just wishes he could figure out what he's supposed to do. But great performances from everyone involved. Jason Segel, he's great playing this pothead. He does him really well. Very, very likable, despite the fact that he's kind of a loser. Ed Helms, who's kind of an asshole in it, because he doesn't treat his wife right. He like puts too much emphasis on stupid things, like he buys a Porsche and it's supposed to make him, like he is somebody. When he first meets his brother, he's like, I'm at a business lunch, blah blah blah, and his brother's like, you're at Hooters, dude. That's real classy, But despite the fact that Ed Helms is kind of a dick through a lot of it, you end up really liking him, and he probably gives the most surprising performance. Because all I've really seen him in is comedies and stuff, and this is sort of a comedy, but he really gets to stretch his dramatic chops in it, especially near the end. He really gets to show off what he could do, and I was very surprised what Ed Helms could do. Susan Sarandon, it's mostly just her sitting in the office responding to these AIM messages, and but she does a really good job. What else can I say? It's just really likable, good writing, good characters, a lot of heart. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I will say that the ending is it's just very, I don't know, it just put me in such a good mood. It really did. I really love this movie quite a bit. I don't think I want to spoil it or say anything more than that. It's a nice little indie comedy / dramedy thing. I think it's the best work of the Duplass brothers, or Duplass, or I don't know how you say their names, but I think they really nailed it here. They had the right cast, they had the right script. They wrote a really nice, just heartwarming film, and they made it work. This nice little score, this cutesy score that plays through the whole thing is really nice. Probably the only thing I could say about it, one, I think there's people that they're not the audience for this type of movie. They can't stand movies where there's not a lot of action, or there's not a lot of action. Like, there's people that watch movies that are comedies, and if they don't laugh throughout the whole thing, they're like, well, that wasn't a comedy, it was a drama. It's kind of hard to categorize. But a comedy is something, a drama that's more lighthearted is, I guess, the way I describe it. That's how that it would get categorized as a comedy, because it's not like people dying and shit. Or is there? I don't want to spoil it, but still, I think there's like a certain crowd of people where, like, if not a lot happens plot wise, they're disappointed and they're bored. But if you could just get behind watching a couple characters for an hour and a half and see what happens in their lives, I think you'll really enjoy this. I think you'd have to have a pretty cold, black heart to resist this movie. This movie is pure charm. It really is. Like, the characters, the story, the music, it's just charm on top of charm. And that might make it a little too sugary and sweet for some people, but sometimes it's just what you need. And it worked for this movie. Like I said, I've never seen a movie lately, anyways, that just left me happy. It made me want to, like, fucking go outside and save somebody, and just go meet somebody and say hi. But it was too fucking hot outside, so I didn't do that. But it made me want to do it. Um, but just all around, just really enjoyable. One of my favorite films I've seen this year. Um, Unfortunately, it came out in 2011, so I don't think it could be on my 2012 list unless I start to change the rules. I don't remember this movie being out in 2011. I thought it was a 2012 film, but regardless, one of the best films I've seen this year. It's available now on DVD and I'm sure everywhere else. So definitely give it a shot. If you tolerate independent films at all, and you like films that are about just characters, and if you want to just see a movie that just really is just uplifting and will put you in a good mood, it really did. I can't recommend anything better than this. I loved it. Um, Want to give it 5 stars almost just because of the effect that it had on me. Fuck it, 5 stars. Watch Jeff Who Lives at Home and enjoy. Let me know what you thought of the movie.